Hello, good morning. Today's video I thought I would show you how to make a basic ointment. So I will talk you through it when everything's sort of cooking away, but I've blended different dried herbs and infused them in a peach kernel oil. So I've got 120 mils of this oil and 20 grams of beeswax. I have the pellets, but you can use the hard, that you can get it in blocks. And you can use less if you want your ointment to be more softer. But the way I work it, so if I'm doubling or tripling, I just have it in my head for every 120 mils of the infused oil, I'll use around 20 grams of beeswax for every amount. So I have my, I'll take you over here, my bain-marie. I've got a little bit of water. I'm hoping it doesn't spit out, but if it does, don't worry. So I'm gonna pour my oil into the top half and my beeswax. I'm going to let this melt. I do have essential oils to add into it. So for this amount, if you're working with 120 mils, you can use up to 25 drops of essential oils. You can use one particular essential oil, or you can blend them. I tend to keep it simple and keep 3. I'll usually blend it with 3. So I've got my jars ready. I'm going to keep my eye on this. So I'll try and bring this over here. I can see it is spitting, so it just means I've got a little bit more water in there than I need. So I've chose the peach kernel. Peach kernel has very similar properties to almond oil as well. And this particular one I used is because it's very nourishing for the skin. So it's really good for dry skin and any sort of skin conditions with eczema, even inflammation, psoriasis. It's going to help calm it down. I did write some notes down. So when I infused this oil, you can do it as a cold infusion. So that means that you would get a mason jar. You would use dried herbs, and you would fill the jar a good halfway and then fill it all up with oil, and you would infuse that for about a month. It does take a long time. You can infuse it in a bain-marie and simmering that in a low heat for a couple of hours. I don't tend to do that one. I usually use the cold maceration, or I have a slow cooker, a small slow cooker, and I will just simmer my herbs in there that have been dried for a minimum of 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. And I learned that way. It was from one of my Chinese teachers when I studied acupuncture many years ago. We done herbs within that course, and that was the way that I was taught when we were making a skin blend. But with my background in holistic therapies, was learning the aromatherapy was my way into working with herbs, and I was quite fortunate at the time to do a course in the Napier's University in Edinburgh. That's where I done my diploma. Sorry, not my diploma, I done my diploma beforehand to get into that, and that was a Bachelor of Arts in Complementary Healthcare and Aromatherapy. And at that time we did do a herbal course as well, but they got stopped. So I was like one of the last intake. That's many years ago, that's like 15 years ago I think, and we were the last intake because they couldn't go forward with that particular course because of funding. But it was a great experience, and so my way of working with plants was always aromatherapy, working with people's health conditions. But because I always loved herbs and had this curiosity, I always ventured out and done extra things. So within that course we learned how to blend and make herbs, use essential oils for you know, a burner or steam distillation in a bath. And it wasn't till really last year that I started making the tinctures, and this year I've really wanted to get to the bare plant, the natural plant. But I never forwarded my time when I done the acupuncture. I had a year there, but I went on, that was about 8 years ago, so a year doing that, but then I wanted to do the counselling, so I went in to study like a postgrad diploma in person-centred counselling. And then the last year, and I'd done other courses like postgrad drugs and alcohol studies, and trauma. I was interested in trauma as well, but I stopped working with people in that massage way, or giving creams and, you know, like prescribing. If somebody came to see me, I would work with them with a session, and usually I would give them a blend of something to take away. So once I became a counsellor and psychotherapist, that stopped, but I just done it for myself and for people in my family or close friends. But this year it seems to have come back into my life in a bigger way, and I do want to forward it. So I have been looking at other courses, but I don't want to be a clinical herbalist. And when you study these courses, they are expensive, and I'm thinking to myself, well, what will it give you if you do like a herbology course? How far do you want to go? How basic do you want to keep it? And I think it is just because it's nice studying with like-minded people, because when, you know, working as a counsellor or this kind of thing, it is more on my own with it. So what I love about studying is that you come together as a collective with lots of minds and people that are interested in the same thing, and there's something very powerful and wonderful about that. And so with this YouTube channel that is holistic, like I want to empower each one of you to be your own sort of healer. And it has, like, even though I've been doing that sound healing, which came into my life, and I done my diploma, it's a way of working with a person, same as counselling's a way of working with a person, and the same with herbs, whether it's tea, tincture, balms, creams, it's holistic. And so through my channel, I've noticed organically, I've just been bringing in different threads that I've had no idea, or even I didn't even know how it was going to go. And I think as well, because I like clean living as much as I can, I do like to make my own like sort of skin ointments. And within the world that we live in, when you buy things, there's a lot of chemicals within things, and if it's under a certain percent, they don't even need to list it. And with like a basic ointment, you can just choose your oils. There's many different oils, vegetable oils out there that are going to be really beneficial for different skin types. And I just want you to see how easy it is, how you can make your own ointment. And it can be for, you know, you can make a nice face cream, there's different recipes for that. It can be just like a body butter, or if you've got like skin rashes or cuts, then there's different, you know, ointments for that. So this is just a basic one, and with these herbs that I've dried and infused oil in, that was when I was out, I got that self-heal, and I managed to get some dock leaf as well. And even though I have other herbs, but I just focused on those two ones because they're very good. They're antibacterial, they're antiseptic, they're vulnerary, so that means if there is a wound, it's going to tighten that skin and stop the bleeding. The antiseptic, it's going to kill any bacteria or stop it in its tracks, so it's not going to be able to multiply and grow. You've got like the anti-inflammatory properties, so that's going to help with that inflammation, the redness, the burning. It's going to help cool that down. So even if you got stung by, you know, a midge or a wasp or a stinging nettle, if you have little ointments on the go, you can go to this to put on, and naturally this is going to help. And the essential oils, well, they're just a backup. So what I have, like, they're very powerful in their own right, and they just enhance everything. So I've gone for a tea tree because that's full of those properties as well, the antibacterial. So that's going to be good for cuts. They're good for spots as well, wounds, acne, psoriasis, eczema, just any sort of inflammation. We have lavender as well, and I've got geranium rose. So there's many different essential oils that you can use depending on what you want. So even if you wanted to make yourself an ointment rub for muscular aches and pains, then you might choose lavender. You might choose with wintergreen. You know, there's lots of other essential oils that you can use. If you're looking for something for skincare, if you want to make a cream, then you've got like your rose, still lavender, chamomile. You know, there's many, and I don't want to spend too much time listing them all. So with this one, there we go, that's my concoction. It's all melted down, and I'm just going to allow it to cool a little bit, because when you put the essential oils in, if it's too hot, it's going to start killing the therapeutic properties. So I've made this blend just a small amount, but after this video I'll go back and make larger amounts to jar up. So when these are jarred, it's hard to say how long you get, because I've had ointments, I've gone back a year later, they've been fine. If I'm not going to use them, I do keep them in the fridge, but usually they're used within that year, depending on which oil, because it's got the essential oils, that is going to help preserve. You can use a grapeseed oil and that'll help preserve it longer, but 6 months is usually the recommended time to keep something, but like I said, it can last longer. So I'll go ahead and do this. But see, when you do your oil infusion, you can just use you don't have to infuse your oil. You can just go for your almond oil, your grapeseed oil, your apricot oil, your peach kernel oil, whatever you want. But I find the maceration, like when you're steeping them in the herbs, you're getting, you know, the properties from the herbs. You can use chamomile, lavender, calendula, rose petals, as long as you dry them, because if you don't dry them, there's going to be all that moisture and that will contaminate, and that's when it doesn't last long, it spoils, as you can imagine. So just think, dry your herbs. It doesn't take long to dry them, and if you don't mind that weight, steep them in your jar for up to 4 weeks. You can do it a little bit quicker, but if you want it really nice and strong, 4 weeks, or you can do it in your bain-marie, or you can do it, what I do, in the small, it's a small pressure cooker on the lowest heat. And so you find your way and experiment. So I'm just feeling that now. That feels quite cold enough. So 25 drops, and it's up to you how you want to measure them. Geranium is a really lovely sweet, it's quite a strong smell, so I might do, let me see, 8 drops of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. A little bit extra, but that's fine. And it's, you can go a little bit more, you can do a little bit less. I've seen myself actually back in the days blending 5 oils together, but I find 3 is enough, and I chose those ones because they go well together and because of the antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial properties. I'll just fix this here and just give it a little stir. I have some jars. So once these are done in the jars, you can just leave them, put the lid on it, make labels, date, put the ingredients, date it, and that you know what's in it and when you made it. You can put them in the fridge as well to cool down. So that's filled up here. That one's just under there. That'll just be a small one I'll use, but that one's full, so it worked out 1.5 jars. So that's why I tend to make more, but I just wanted to show you a small amount, because you might only just want to make 1 jar, so at least you know that that amount gives you like a good jar. So that is a basic ointment with your essential oils, and it's up to you how you want to, you know, blend it, if you want to keep it simple. But I would encourage you to use some of those natural herbs that are about, or that if you're growing in your garden, lavender, chamomile, the dock leaf as well. And because I'm always out in nature, I do tend to get stung at times with the nettle, and they're very burning. And especially with children who cut themselves, so there's bruises, so I like to have ointments, and I always make myself like a butter, because that's how I work. I usually make soap as well, cold processed soap, which I'll need to make again because I've not made any for a wee while and I've run out. So you can make anything you can buy in a shop: face cream, body cream, shampoos, deodorants you can make. So I hope you find that useful, and yeah, I hope that you try it. Let me know if you make anything, or if you have your own recipes that work for you. Please leave a comment, and I'll see you again for a next video. Bye.